Some people have kind of like, well, we've heard about agents, but we don't actually know what it is. Other people are like, yep, we've got full-blown deployments that are out there, but we need specific help. So just trying to get a bit of a sense as to who's actually doing any work with it. Just keep posting those in. Once you've done that, I'm just going to have a quick scan through just so we got a bit of an idea. But Chris, we're just after the hour. We should probably get started. So
let's start. All right. Everyone, thank you very much for joining our first of the series in the Edge Services EMEA series. We put that topic up in December, given what we've seen customers at reInvent want to hear about. And we've got a great lineup of folks today. It's about AWS, Gen AI, and agentic AI for security. What a mouthful, but we'll look to kind of run through this. Now, who's going to be talking today? I'll introduce myself. I'm Christopher Jen. I'm go-to-market for Edge Services. I've been working in security for over 10 years. I think right now with AI, and this is why I wanted to do this topic, it's the most exciting time. And I'm based in London. I have a 9-month-old. I get some sleep, but not always as much. Mark, do you want to introduce? Let's have everyone introduce themselves quickly.
Sure. Hi, everybody. So Mark Keating, I'm a principal security specialist in AWS. I'm based in the UK, just south of London. I've been at AWS almost 6 years. So it does feel like a lifetime. But it's been here for a while. For the last 2.5 years, I've been focused very heavily on generative AI. AI security as a whole, and now agentic AI. I work very, very closely and very heavily with our global tier one automotive manufacturing and healthcare and life sciences customers around the world. So often dealing very highly regulated industries and customers on how they can actually build agentic AI, build generative AI applications within the bounds of what they're allowed to do. Shweta?
Hi everybody, so I'm Sweta. I am a security specialist SA. I'm based in Madrid and it's not sunny, it's gloomy. So yes, imagine London. And so I've been in AWS for almost 5 years. This year it will be 5 years for me. So yeah, seems like a lifetime for me as well. And normally I work with all EMEA customers from all type of industries, and most of my customers, we talk about security, and nowadays more about security related with generative AI and also agentic AI. Also with multiple customers, I've been participating in different events. So Miriam.
Yeah, so good morning, everyone. I'm Miriam Smash, and I'm a security solution architect. I'm located in Paris, and to be honest, I didn't yet open the window, so I will tell you after the meeting how is the weather outside. So yeah, I'm working with Shweta, the same team, and I'm also helping customer from EMEA, Europe, Middle East, North Africa to secure their architecture and to build and integrate the security in a more compliant and correct way. We are giving them recommendation, and we are also providing for them the best practices about Gen AI, secure agentic AI to be integrated in their workloads. Originally, I'm a doctor in cybersecurity, and my journey with AI starts from 2015. So I'm going to present today with my team, and looking forward for your presence. Yeah.
Great, thank you, everyone. And behind the scenes, we have Piotrek, who manages the whole series. And if there's any issues today, technically, please ping them separately on through the chat to help you out. But without further ado, we will go through the agenda and how we schedule it. I will have the great pleasure of going through a quick wrap-up of what I see in 2025 in terms of AI, and then 3 predictions I have for 2026. We designed it such that Mark's going to cover the intro to Gen AI agentic security. There's quite a large topic. We've really just synthesized that for you today. Then we're going to go into all the AWS AI security services that have AI built in since reInvent, so that if you wanted to buy, you can use those. Then Miriam's going to go into how would you build? There's lots of capabilities on AWS. And so how could you build some tooling using Agent Core connected to your edge services, your WAF, your CloudFront, and other security, and make full advantage. And then what I really like on top of all of this is Mark's going to demo. And with demos, please be nice to him. But I'm actually quite excited to see him, how he can piece it together and get you up and going very quickly. We're going to wrap it up. And so this is a level 3-400. We are not going into, how does WAF work? How does edge services work? We're really going to go into, quickly drop into the technical stuff. So just a kind of preamble about everything. All right. So that's the agenda. Anything else, folks, before I start? All right. Oh, good. All right. A wrap up of 2025 and predictions. So I think if you go back to the beginning of 2025, we just had, ChatGPT started coming out. But what we have started seeing, and I think you've seen it throughout, is the LLM costs are going down. So this report from A16Z is showing that there will be a 10x decrease in cost year on year of what we're seeing in cost of LLM. Now, what does that mean? That essentially means that many of the use cases you might see today will go to cost of zero.
This meeting is being recorded.
Oh yeah, recording. That's processing of AI, all AI speech could come to $2 a year. That is analyzing the entire Linux kernel could be $1. And essentially, not today, but voice assistants could be free to operate. So this dramatic decrease is allowing for many more use cases to happen. And if you look back at 2025, we released, as an industry, reasoning models, right? And that allowed us to then have complex tasks, because at the beginning of the year, you would just be chatting. But once we added reasoning, that added a brand new capability into what we could be doing with LLMs. The second, I think, what happened last year was the DeepSeek moment. And there was two major kind of moments, January, and it looks like January 2025 with the shockwave, right? So, DeepSeek announced that, came onto the market, trained an LLM at the fraction of the cost of a lot of the US models, $5 to $6 million to train versus billions of dollars. And it was essentially the Sputnik moment, and many folks were saying, how could this happen? Overnight, $1 trillion was removed from the stock market. NVIDIA shares tanked for a bit of time. And there was a whole reckoning in Silicon Valley of, are we going to be leading this moment? And China has definitely led with the open source models, right? And before that, it was all kind of, okay, there wasn't much talk about open source models. And now we are using many of the kind of built-in capabilities. A lot of folks are using the Qwen model, the DeepSeek models as well. Again, at the end of last year, actually beginning of this year, DeepSeek also produced a new paper. And this new paper had a lot of things in it. And the all kind of quick summary that I have for it is they have this enneagram. And it's a way of putting conditional memory at the beginning of the whole pipeline. And what that means is you can have a lookup table. So instead of having to go through the whole transformer model every time you're chatting, you could put a quick lookup table, 2-3 tokens, think about it, and easily process that request at the very beginning and save using CPU and RAM instead of using the whole LLM model. So this is a kind of, let's say, a brand new capability that many kind of not shock the world, but DeepSeek put out there, which will allow us to have another scaling dimension. So we all kind of know what lookup tables, how add speed, and now you don't just need GPUs, you could actually add CPU and RAM and do some of the computation there. So this is what I definitely see is this will then even accelerate or give us more capability within the LLM ecosystem. And I think anyone who's following cybersecurity, all of us have seen this in November 14th. What it was Anthropic detected an AI actor relating it back to China, that they were able to basically build a kind of a system agentically to automate an attack. And this was detected in US organizations. They detected their API. What some things in this, they got around Claude by breaking it into small little tasks that seem innocuous to Claude in the guardrails. And so it didn't know it was, doing a cyber espionage. And also they used role playing. They told the agent that, okay, imagine you're impersonating, you're framing as you're like a legitimate person, acting as an employee of a legitimate cybersecurity company. And so it kind of used role playing as well as broken down the task. So each agent or each capability didn't know what they were doing in a holistic. As it ran, it would bring back the information. The human would review and tell it to go and complete the next task. So using MCP as well, each of these components were MCP servers, right? So MCP for a tool, search, code. So this is what we're going to be showing you today, is how can you take these tools yourself and then also, up level your game like the cyber attackers are also doing on the other side. Now, my prediction for 2026, first one, agents will feel like AGI to many of us this year. And I'll give my personal example, and I'll go through these ones, is I'm in GTM. So what I do is I do lots of these type of webinars. I use Kiro, and I send this recording of the webinar. I send this PowerPoint, and I tell the agent to transcribe it, load it up to AWS, use the transcribe, get me all the transcriptions, cut the video. So automatically watch the video. It doesn't watch, right? It kind of takes my transcription, cuts the video, reads the PowerPoint at the same time, take the speaker notes, put it in, summarize the speaker notes for each slide. I didn't build an application. I just told it to take my data. Now, this is an example that's very relevant, really. Toby, Shopify, what he did is took his MRI scans. And I don't know if anyone's gone to MRI scans, or my wife has gone, not recently, but last year. The tooling is really old. It's maybe a Windows system. What he did is took the MRI scan, threw it into Claude, for example, that's the tool he used, and it asked it to build a whole GUI interface to show his MRI scan. All right, and that one or two shot prompt to do that. We in Amazon have launched Amazon Quick Suite, is an agentic AI suite. You can launch agents, making it, maybe you don't want to use a CLI, maybe you want to use a GUI interface. I've seen the explosion of Amazon Quick Suite in adoption of Amazon. Like Amazon had many different types of businesses, right? Not everyone's a programmer. Using this tool, there is, I've never seen something, adopted so quickly in an organization in the size of Amazon. Prediction 2. I've talked a lot about this last year, and I call it the digital translator. But I want to expand more on it. So where I'm seeing it, prediction is there is no barrier now between any language, any media type. So it could be a podcast to a written form to a video. We will have that kind of barrier of conversion is kind of like we have an international translator. But what I'm now also seeing, and I predict, is that we can translate to any program. So do we need to have applications the way they're written today, or can we automatically create programs on the fly as we need them? Maybe they're one-time use programs, or maybe they're throwaway programs, but anyone could say, take this content, create me a program, slice it, create a website, create me dashboards. That could happen, and I think all the tooling's there, and I'm seeing it happen right now. So my prediction number 2, we're going to see more of the digital translator capability happening, not just with media formats, but any digital kind of way you're communicating with the underlying data. The third one, very close to my heart, is the creating the monetization of the open web. So right now, we have LLMs and agents going onto the web, consuming content. We need content to help make them be useful. But on the other side, there's the advertising, the content creators, publishers, people who own data sets are not getting paid for the content that's being consumed. And so there's a need for the industry it could be micropayments, it could be subscriptions, a new model for attribution, for advertising of the other side. And so it is working out how will agents pay for work they're doing, how will we as end consumers who might want financial data for our agent, how will we pay for that content, and how we make sure the people creating content still have incentive. So currently, there's a lot of articles on the internet about many people's businesses, which are maybe ad-based monetization, having to lay people off or decrease their business because now it's been extractive. So there is a lot of work around this. It is, and so right now, I think we're going to create a monetization layer on the internet for all of these creators out there. So those are my 3 predictions. We will check again at the end of this year to see how right they are. But all of these are in the directions that I think. Not, let's say, all AWS sanctioned, but these are the things that I'm seeing in the marketplace or the world. Now, to move on, pass it on to my colleague, Mark, who's going to go over then how about generative AI and how would you think about agentic security?